Hey, everybody, welcome to another great episode of the Let's Talk Justice Show. I am your host, Suzette Speaks. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to welcome you. Please hit the like button, please hit comment, let me know where you're watching from, and of course, share. We want to shout out all of our partners who are making today's broadcast possible. First and foremost, thank you to our co sponsors, Jamaicans.com. Thank you so much to everybody watching on that platform. Big up on yourself. Thank you so much for all your support and we appreciate you being here. Also, thank you to everyone watching on Let's Talk Justice Show platform on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. We're glad that you're here, and we're going to talk about a case that we had initially helped to break to the public. Just a few months ago. I hope you guys remember the story of Miya Marcano. We want to keep her memory very much alive. And today we have a special guest from her foundation. They have been hard at work trying to change laws in Florida so that something as tragic as what happened to Miya Marcano will never happen again. Let me know you guys are watching. I see so many people have entered the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a Let's Talk Justice Show edition. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Suzette Speaks. I'm a TV host and attorney here in South Florida. I have a passion for women's empowerment, and I also have a passion for law, politics, and community issues. So, on the Let's Talk Justice show, I use it as a platform to help educate and enlighten folks about law and legal trends. And today is one such show. Today, we're going to be talking about the tragic case of a 19-year-old who is from South Florida who went to college up in Orlando and unfortunately was not, her case was not handled the way it probably should have been. And after a few long days of searching for her after she went missing, her body was found. And we have someone from her foundation, the Miya Marcano Foundation, that's going to expound a little bit more about her story. And of course, more importantly, I was watching the news here in South Florida and I've seen her family in Tallahassee on Capitol Hill, if you will, on Florida's capital, lobbying lawmakers to change laws so that what happened to Miya Marcano will never happen again. Are y'all with me? Please drop a comment. Please like, please share. Let me know that you're watching. I have a wonderful representative from the Miya Marcano Foundation that's going to let us know what they've been doing in order to make her memory one that is purposeful. And we are going to do our best through the Let's Talk Justice platform to make sure we never forget and that we always shed light on what happened to her so that it does not happen to anyone else. You guys drop a comment. I see you. Yes. Hi, Kimara. Rest in peace, Miya. Long live Miya. Long live her memory. Thank you so much. Hey, Miguel Murphy. Nice to see you, sir. Long time. I see my moderator already in the building. Thank you, Gail at night. Thank you, David, for being here. Drop a comment, like, and share. So if you guys didn't know this story, you can go back on my channel. We had a wonderful interview early on in this case with one of Miya's cousins, Callie Sue. And this was in the height of the search for Miya Marcano. I am just moved by how many people watched that. And hopefully you guys have a personal connection to her story due to that interview. Many of you knew her. Some of you may have not known her. Some of you actually, may have never heard of this story. But it's one that we believe has a very big implication in Florida law. Unfortunately, in Miya's case, when she worked at her apartment complex after she went up to school, she went to the community college up in Orlando, Valencia. She was being harassed by someone who worked in her office. Handyman, if you will, or a gentleman that worked on the property. And after he had been making certain advances to her, Miya rebuffed him. But what was unusual about this case is that he still had access to her apartment because of his job. And one of the things I've noticed when it comes to the legislation her family is lobbying for is that they really would like people who are being hired by apartment complexes to have a thorough background check. It is super important that when people have access to young people and anyone in general into your personal space, we should know, and the companies that own apartment complexes should do due diligence to make sure that if you have a criminal record or if you are dealing with someone who has a violent past, they are not going to be allowed into an apartment or even hired. So they are doing a lot of great work. I know that this story was one that I felt very, very connected to, because I too am a young woman from South Florida, from an immigrant family whose family sacrifice came here in order to have a better life. And I saw a lot of myself in Miya Marcano, someone with a bright future, someone who touched so many lives with her spirit. If you have been following the case, you probably watched some of her funeral services. So moving, so moving. And I see butterflies being dropped. This was her favorite. Thank you so much, Anne Marie Sue, for watching. Thank you for being here. Butterflies have become the symbol of her foundation. So I really want to thank you guys for watching. I see you. Thank you, Sunbreeze, for being here. Thank you again, Gail at Night. I see you. Good afternoon, Brandon. And Kimara Greer says, such a tragic story. I know of her dad and stepmom through the soca community. That's very prominent community here in South Florida, where Caribbean Americans, we pretty much know each other. If you go out and if you enjoy this type of music, this broke my heart and it shed tears like I knew her personally. Girl, I'm the same way. From the moment I saw this case, from the moment I saw it come across, I think I saw it on my local news here, I was like, wait a minute, this case needs attention. And even now, as we've been talking about, Gabby Petito and the discovery of her ex-boyfriend's remains here in Florida. I don't know why we always have a Florida tie, but it has been something that has come to my attention, that when it has to deal with Black and brown people, we don't necessarily see it in the news as prominently or for as long a period. So here at the Let's Talk Justice show, we're going to do our best to keep her legacy alive. We are going to talk about, who she was. We're going to talk about the lives that she touched, and we're going to especially talk about some of the things that we can do now to ensure that this never happens to anyone else. Y'all drop a comment. Thank you. You never heard this story, Brandon? Well, welcome. We want to do our best to educate the public here on the Let's Talk Justice show. So as I said, when this was unfolding and Miya's story first came to light, it was very harrowing for us here in South Florida to have one of our own, a young lady, beautiful heart, who went to school at Flanagan High School just recently, had graduated last year, and had been sent off to college like so many other young people are, sent by their parents to start their lives. And when I saw her and I initially heard about the story, I was very, very perplexed as to what happened. Where did this young lady go? And people don't just miss a flight. So for those of you who did not know her story, I'll give you a quick synopsis, and then we're going to bring on Jodi, who's going to tell us more about the foundation and the work that the foundation does. But Miya was planning to come down for the holidays. This is right before Miami Carnival. This is a festive time in the Caribbean American community here in South Florida. And it was a time where, of course, if something like your child does not catch her flight or does not arrive at the airport, you immediately become alarmed. So that's what happened to her family. They said, whoa, Miya missed her flight. They started to immediately inquire with her job. She was supposed to get off. This was, I think, the Friday night at 5 p.m. She was working at her apartment complex part-time, and she was due to come back home here to South Florida. Unfortunately, she did not catch that flight, and it immediately alarmed her family. They started reaching out to her roommate. They started reaching out, obviously, to her job. And what was, I think, a wonderful move by her family members, they immediately caravanned that early. That would have been Saturday morning, early in the morning, where it was like, we got to go up there ourselves and go find out where this beautiful young lady is. So they go up to her apartment. Their roommate meets them, allows them in, and they see a harrowing scene. They open her bedroom door, which was jammed shut by having an object, I think it was a dresser or something, blocking it. So someone is sent through the window. They open the door. Long story short, you can watch the previous show about Miya Marcano to get more of the, as it unfolded, look into what the case, how the case unfolded. Nonetheless, her cousin Callie Sue gave us a first-hand account of what they saw when they walked in. They knew Miya was a very neat person, very tidy person. She kept herself immaculately, put together. She was one of the princess types who, eyebrows was always on fleek, hair always done. So when they walked into her room that fateful morning, they knew something was wrong immediately. They came inside. They saw the place disheveled. Her stuff was thrown around. She had gifts that were given to her by her father. I think it was like a bear thrown aside. The bed was disheveled. They knew immediately that there was something that would bring alarm. So they called the police. The police had been on site, of course, in Florida, I think, in many places. They had, thank you, Kamara says, yeah, so many teachable moments from her story. My goodness, if they had not gone up there right away to see the scene, I don't know what they would have been told by police. But I think that was very telling that they knew something was wrong. And so they started pushing. Guys, when it comes to such matters as missing persons, if somebody from the family is not on the front lines, keeping this in the police face, or if it, if it's a federal case, FBI or whoever, local police and whoever else is involved, excuse me, this case or cases similar to it can often go kind of to the back of the pile. So one thing I really admire about her family is that from day one, they have been, left jobs, gone up there searching for over a week, for almost a week, together, trying to make sure everything that could be done was done. So I want to say I salute her family. I salute everyone in her community, all her friends, and those of us who have just been impacted in an extended way. Those of us who have been moved by what we saw take place. And unfortunately, there were so many questions that remain. And the other part of that, it was how the investigation took place. So as I told you, the family went up there, saw her room, immediately knew something was wrong. The police had been called, but I think you have to be missing for a certain amount of time before it's really considered a missing persons case. So there was that time that was given to ensure that, she just wasn't gone on her own volition. Yes, I agree. Thank you on my own 31. Not familiar with the case, but good morning. Good morning, Grandma of 11. I see you. Good morning. Kamara said, yes, her family is amazing. Salute to all her family. Mother's side, father's side, everybody in between. Salute to her family because the work they did in putting together the foundation so quickly, making sure that they were like, we don't need money. We are going to help other missing families, the families of other missing people, the way we needed help, the way we've learned how heart-wrenching something like this can be. They're going to pay it forward, and they're going to make sure that other people have the resources and really the know-how, because no one wants to go through this. No one really believes this is something that could happen to you. No one really believes this is something that can, affect their family. But then one day it does. It kind of is something that can be, surreal as it's happening. Because even when I remember talking to her cousin on the Let's Talk Justice show, when I spoke to Kelly Sue, it's like she was in the middle of it. She was in the heart of it. It was happening to her as she was telling me about it. And it struck me, how, almost on autopilot we have to be. First of all, women, we compartmentalize very well. We're like, this is our emotion about this thing, but this is what we got to get done. So they went about it so dutifully with grace. I remember seeing pictures of her grandmother, a video of her grandma. Everybody kind of threw themselves into what was, I'm sure, a scenario that was like beyond belief. There's not even words I could properly probably use here to articulate something so, mind-boggling, that your family is going through something so it's just life-changing in all the wrong ways. So I want to shout out to her father, Mr. Marlon Marcano. He also is a prominent soca DJ in the Caribbean American community here in South Florida. And so many of us have rallied around him. If you've been to a soca party, you've probably heard DJ Eternal Vibes. You've probably been a part of he or her stepmom's, festivities. Shout out to Giselle the Wasiwan. Giselle the Wasiwan is also a prominent personality, if you will, and she hosts bands in different carnivals. She hosts her band here for Miami Carnival, meaning she hosts basically one of the troops, the dancing troops of people that dress up and kind of play mass together. She has held one for years, well known here in the South Florida Caribbean American community. So when it happened and I was listening to who her stepmom was and who her dad was, I was like, oh my God, these are my people. I got to figure out how I can help. I got to figure out what I can do, to spread the word. So for those of you who are just learning about the case for the first time, welcome. And for those of you who have lived this case with us together, welcome as well. It was something that, again, rocked the core of the South Florida immigrant community, particularly in the Caribbean American community, who kind of knew of her through, less than 6 degrees of separation, if you want to put it like that, knew of someone in her family, knew somebody who knew somebody, one of those type of situations. So as we watched the story together, as we felt the pain of the family together, it was something that we were just all so touched by. And as the story progressed, they started searching for the same gentleman who, and I hate to call him gentleman, the same person of interest who worked at her apartment complex. He was named a person of interest. I believe it was by that Saturday evening. He was named a person of interest. And then the following day, he was found dead at his apartment complex. It gets really crazy, folks. There's still a lot of questions, and I know we can't get into all the case details. I'm not privy to all of the police material, and of course, the who knew what, when, and what moves were made when. But it is something that, like I said, even though we didn't get the outcome we wanted, Miya was not found alive. We want to make sure something like this never, ever, ever happens to another family. We want to ensure that apartment complexes are, doing the diligence when they're hiring people, when they're saying, I'm giving this person access to, someone's personal space. I want to make sure, and we should all want to make sure that that person is not a danger to those who live there. I was reading some other parts of the proposals of Miya's law, and I know they want to also include the window or lengthen the window of time that an apartment complex must give its residents in order to enter their apartments. So instead of, I think it might be like 24 hours. I don't even think they have to give you 24 hours notice the way the law is now, but they want to extend it so that you must have notice as a resident for 24, 48 hours more, so that no one just comes into your apartment the same day. So how that played into this case is that apparently someone with a master key fob had entered her apartment the same evening that she had gone missing, hours before. So who would have access? That's how this man Armando, his last name escapes me, was named a person of interest because he is a maintenance worker at her apartment and had access to the master key fob. So we really wanted to deal with these issues. And I know Jodi is waiting in the wings, and I know she only has a few minutes with us. But Jodi, when you're ready, please let me know. Y'all drop a like, drop a comment, please share. And we want to bring you on to talk a little bit more about the legacy of Miya. Good morning. I see you guys. Thank you so much. I see you. Drop a butterfly for Miya. Thank you so much for the super chat. I see you, Kamara. Of course. This is my pleasure to be able to use my platform to speak to people. But without further ado, I know Jodi must be out by a certain time. Y'all, welcome from the Miya Marcano Foundation, none other than Miss Jodi Lewis. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Thank you for being here, my darling. I want to talk to you so badly. I know you have so much love coming through the chat, but tell us who you are and tell us about your work with the foundation.
Sure. So my name is Jodi Lewis. I I do a lot of work with crisis management, PR, large scale events, and new business development. So that's my whole world. I also own a telecommunications company, and I do Uber Sogo Cruise. So a lot of people kind of know me from that. And I have known Marlon and Giselle since 2015. 15, I would say, when Giselle was kind of really helpful with getting USC off the ground and getting us introduced to a lot of people that we needed to speak with. So I've known this family for quite some time, since met her mother through this unfortunate incident. But now both sides of this family are just so important to me. I've taken them on, when I speak to them, I say, okay, family, this is what we're doing, so
Yeah.
I've gotten so close to both sides now that it is like I'm fighting every day for my own family members, and that's what this family really just makes you feel. They make you feel like you're a part of their world, and it's just so it's such an honor to be able to assist them in such a difficult time. I've worked, with a lot of difficult cases in Bermuda and public relations and drafting speeches for premiers and the like. And this case was different. This situation was different. This was something that was so, close to home, too close for comfort. As soon as I got a call from Giselle saying that they needed some support in terms of legal, and in terms of just managing the media that was coming about due to this case. So I reached out to a really good friend of mine, Attorney Washington, and
Yeah.
said, hey, these are friends of mine, like, we got you got to come down with me. And he was like, Jodi, no doubt, let's do it. We were on a flight out. I would say within 48 hours, we were on a flight down to Central Florida to meet with the family and help out as much as we can. And so I took over managing the media and the like. And then eventually kind of work with the family to develop the foundation. So one of the important things that I have been saying is the day that the family found that Miya was deceased, we were sitting in a room, and this family, as we were mourning and doing, talking about some of the legal stuff, this family, we were sitting around talking about how much love and support that they had during this time. And I remember we all were just so interested in this discussion around, what do the families that do not have this much love and support and community do when their child goes missing? They recognize that they had the resources and the community support to have access to people, to bodies, to come help search for Miya, to resources. They were able to get, donations, whether it's food or whatever the case may be. They were able to do all of this stuff to help find their daughter. And they acknowledged the amount of people and resources that tapped in, old friends that were former, state attorneys. They were like, everyone was tapping in to help. And we kept saying, like, wow, what do the families that do not have access to a Jodi that specializes in crisis management, or Attorney Washington that is world-renowned civil rights attorney that's helped numerous families around United States? What if there's a family that don't have access to any of this, that don't know how to draft press releases and get the media involved, that don't have connections to call Essence? And what does that family do? And it was so interesting to sit with this family and hear them already start verbalizing their desire to help other families. And that's how literally the Miya Marcano Foundation was born. The idea was born literally the day that they found out that their daughter was deceased, the day that her body was found. And we had that conversation, and I took notes about exactly what they wanted this foundation to look like, to feel like, what they wanted it to do, and a resounding agreement on what we've kind of came up with, which is really, they wanted to help other people. They wanted to be able to give the resources to other families that are going through the same thing, put into place some preventative measures, such as Miya's Law, which is our primary focus right now. So there's a lot, we can talk about, but that's an introduction to
No,
how
that's fantastic. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy for that. Y'all drop some likes. Please do share. This is important stuff, guys, and I'm grateful. And it's so wonderful that they even had the self awareness as they're going through what they're going through. Like, look, we got people rallying around us. We have a lot of family. We have a huge network. We have a community literally that's behind us. So, and a lot of people do not have that. A lot of people have small families, or don't even know where they would turn in a time of crisis like this. So it's amazing to me, and hats off to the family once again for looking around and saying, you know what, if this could happen to us, this could happen to anybody else, and we can be there for them. So talk a little bit more about the foundations. We understand that the goal is to help others who are also experienced. Thank you so much, Mr. Blue Water. 2020, 21, 21. Thank you for drop a heart, blue hearts, drop butterflies for Miya.
Oh, there's Kayla. Okay,
I
I love
love it. I
Kayla.
love it. Kayla, big up yourself.
Kayla.
Thank you. Big up yourself. Yo, everyone who's watching, hit that like, hit that comment, and share. So tell me more about what you guys have planned. I know you just recently had a beautiful butterfly release. It rained that day. I was gonna come that day, but it was a rainy South Florida day. And I thought to myself, geez, I'm not gonna make it in time. It's probably gonna pour. But you guys had a beautiful event. I saw it on the news.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about what you guys have been doing.
Absolutely. So the foundation was formally legally launched October the 11th. And so pre to the launch, we were obviously planning and getting things developed. Now the first thing that we did was the release event, which was geared around raising funds for the foundation, but also having that formal release. Having that formal release on behalf of her parents and her family. Flanagan's High School was amazing. The principal, Paula, was wonderful with helping us get that together. And so many things came together, that day. So we ended up, Principal Paula and the Flanagan High School, they did a grant, a scholarship in Miya's name. So we released that information that day. We also, I had this idea of contacting Valencia College and seeing if they would issue Miya an honorary degree, and they did that. So we ended up surprising the family with that honorary degree that day. And a number of other things happened that day, including the release of those butterflies that to be honest, was the bane of my existence with these butterflies. For those that are planning butterfly releases, please know that you need to understand the biology of a butterfly. Because I didn't think that far, and it was so funny. So Ima, Miya's mom, she called. She's like, I think the butterflies have to be released by a certain time of day, and I was like, oh, really? What time is that? It's just it was the funniest thing because I learned so much about these butterflies, and I was really kind of freaking out about the butterflies because if you don't release them within 24 to 48 hours, you have to feed them. And I'm like, well, how do you feed butterflies?
Oh, wow.
So I'm just like, if it rains and we have to keep these butterflies in this fridge, you have to keep them in a fridge too, right? Like, I kid you not.
Who knew all of this about the butterfly?
I knew none of this about the butterflies. So I'm like, thank goodness, Principal Paula, she had her science teachers and everyone researching this stuff. She's like, Jodi, if we don't release these butterflies, we have to feed them. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to feed butterflies. But it was beautiful because when we were going through the event, it was raining, and then all of a sudden the sun cracked. And one of the teachers said, should we bring out the butterflies? Because they have to sit outside in the heat to warm up, to wake up, because the fridge keeps them asleep.
Cool.
So she's like, should I take out the butterflies? And I was just like, you know what? Take out the butterflies. Let's see how this goes. The sun stayed out. And I told the crowd, I'm like, listen, I don't know if these butterflies are up. I don't know if they're asleep. I don't even know if they're alive at this point in time, but we're going to go out there and we're going to release these butterflies and hope it all works out. And when that first butterfly flew out of that box, my heart was like, oh, great.
Thank you, Lord.
But as these butterflies flew. So
who knew? You have to do know the whole science behind, like you said, the butterflies wake and sleep cycle and life cycle to be able to do. But there was the idea that count, and it worked out. It worked
out. It it was absolutely beautiful. The saxophone guy was playing. He was amazing. And it was a beautiful event. So that happened. Kind of quickly moving forward, we're focusing on Miya's Law. There's three things we're focusing on now. Miya's Law. We are focusing on building our Find Your Loved One campaign. Or program rather, where if there is someone that goes missing, they can submit to the foundation, and we will get involved and assist that family with trying to locate their loved one. We started that program at Hockley because there was a need for some initial cases to do it extremely quickly.
Wow, you guys have been moving quickly.
Yeah, but the program hasn't really completely been developed yet, but
like built out.
Yeah, it hasn't been completely built out yet, but I just felt we need to get involved. So that what that consists of, when somebody submits to us, we first make contact with the family, we talk to them, we verify that legally they're missing. And then we start the ground running. We post, but we send letters to sheriff's departments, police departments, their state representatives, the local representatives. If the children are in school, we send letters to the school to let the school know they're serious. We make the necessary calls.
So this is sorry to interrupt. This is on behalf of other families of missing people. So
Yes.
y'all already working.
Yes.
You're not too long have laid this beautiful young woman to rest, and you guys are already working. And as you said, the program not even really put together fully, but people have been contacting you guys to say, hey, my daughter, my son, whoever is missing, help us. And you guys have already been putting in work on other people's cases. That is so amazing.
Yes. Because when you go through this, you don't know, and your mind working with this family, there's so much that you just don't know what to do. And your mind is in 10,000 different places, and you're being called by this person and that person. You haven't explained the same things over and over again. So because, we have firsthand experience in going through this, in this process, we really tried to take that out. Because, when I talk to the parents, I'm like, have you contacted, the media? They're like, no, how do I do that? I'm like, okay, we have to put a press release together. I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to get the media involved, and they're going to contact you. What number? I mean, when I say handheld, what number can they reach you at? Can they come to your apartment? We're going to, who's your state representative? I don't know. Okay, no problem. Give me your address. I will find who your state representatives. We will call them and make sure they know that your son or daughter is missing, and they need to be involved and hold, their constituents and police departments liable and accountable for this search. So these are things that we're already starting to do. We want to build it out, though. Everyone, this obviously funds are needed. We want to be able to build this program out so we can have the necessary people in place to answer as many calls for help as possible. So that's one program. The other program we're building right now is the name is not locked in, but we're calling it the Miya Marcano Safe and Secure Accreditation Program. And this program would basically be for apartment complexes and multi-unit dwellings, where their organizations will be able to contact us and go through a program where we will go out and audit their properties and ensure that they are meeting the safety regulations and security regulations that we feel were not in place at Arden Villas that failed Miya and this family. So we're working with a few different security firms to create those criterias, and we will be, sending out information to all the apartments throughout the United States to see who wants to participate. They will also be honored and highlighted on our website that they are certified or accredited through us as providing a safe and a secure environment for their residents. It will be in a rating system, and we're sticking with the butterflies. So it'll be a 1 through 3 or 5 butterfly system. So if an apartment has done everything that they're supposed to do, they'll get like 5 butterflies. It'll be something that they can post on their website, on their email, and we post it on our website too. So eventually individuals that are sending their children off to college or just have a single mom looking for a safe place to stay, they can come to our website and see places that have participated in this program. So that's another thing that we are very keen and focused on getting established and getting out there as well. So there's so much to do, so much coming out. We have another really, really cool fundraising event we're getting ready to announce. And then obviously for Mia's, what would have been her 20th birthday, we're going to be planning a fundraising gala during that week as well. So there's a lot going on. The foundation is doing a lot right now.
Wow, you busy. Wow. I'm just like, this is amazing. This didn't happen too long ago, y'all. This was literally a lot. It's like a month or 2 months, not even. I feel like Carnival just happened.
Yeah.
It's not even that much time. It hasn't been 90 days.
No,
And they have
no,
been already
no.
putting all of this work in to
Yeah.
use what
She was
happened.
discovered missing on the 24th of September.
Yes.
So there was 8 days. I think what was that? Like towards, I can't remember the exact day that she was found.
Yeah.
But like
It
I
was
said,
like from a Saturday to almost a Sunday.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
it was
remember
8 days.
it was almost
Yeah.
just about a week.
Yeah.
But you guys are doing some amazing work there. So we're looking for people to please support the foundation. That's a very important thing. If you listen to what you if you like, excuse me, what you've been listening to and hearing all the wonderful things they're already doing without the funds and without, proper, already having all the paperwork and all this and the tools they need to get other people involved who can help families who can unfortunately this happens more than we'd like for it to happen, be on the ground with people even when possible. So I'm excited to see that the legacy is already being built in a very strong way, you guys. The
It's
butterfly release,
important.
I want you guys to go
It's
on the
important.
foundation website. I want you guys to go, on the Instagram page, look at the pictures of how fabulous that event was. How much? Can I ask how much you guys have raised so far, or what the funds have been looking like?
So for the butterfly release, we were able to raise roughly around 50,000
Amazing.
for that specific fundraising event, which was really, really great. We didn't meet our goal of releasing 1,900 butterflies. However, we're about maybe 380, 400 short of reaching that goal because people are
Very
still
close.
purchasing. So so what we want to do is still encourage people to purchase those butterflies because we're going to end up releasing them the week of her what would be her 20th birthday,
And that will
so
be in
April
April?
26th. Yes,
Okay.
would have been her
April
20th
26th is her
birthday.
birthday, guys.
If
So they have a
we
lot of
can
planning.
if we can get to our 1,900 number by that date, that would be so wonderful for this family and for the foundation. So we're continuing to do that. And I just saw a comment there. I just wanted to address where the lady said she wouldn't have thought of contacting state representatives. And these are things that people do not know.
Yeah.
Your state and local representatives, your councilmen, like they have a responsibility to their community. You elected them.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we challenge them. Like listen, my letters are no joke, and everybody that knows me know I don't play. So if you're in a position of power, I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna say there's a young lady or young man missing in your district, in your constituency, in your area, and they go to this high school, and we need you as the representative to highlight that this is happening. We need you to contact the police department and let them know that you are involved with this situation and that you expect the police department to do their due diligence with this case. And we do call them out. We have to, and not in a negative way. We are just exercising our rights to
As
good
citizens, hello.
exactly good representation. And that, to me, that's and to be honest, the when Jahara was one of the little girls' cases we took on. When she went missing, we emailed all of her state representatives and they all responded. I mean,
Wow.
so just the name, the Miya Marcano name right now, I mean, has gotten what it needs to get to just resonate with lawmakers and policyholders. So when we reach out now, they are responding. They're emailing us right back, and they want to be involved. They want they don't want this to happen again. So
yeah, I'm applauding you from the inside, girl. I'm reading the comments, but I'm listening to you. But I'm in my heart, I'm like, yes. Finally, give us a little update about Miya's law. I kind of try to encapsulate what I saw from reading about it in the news. I saw her mom. Say her mom's name for me.
Ima. Ema.
Ema, and Marlon were up there. I know them just up there
Oh,
on
look,
in
they're all of our
Tallahassee.
family.
But I
Yeah.
was like, yes, I saw the pictures of them, lobbying, and I saw Attorney Washington as well with them. What do you hope to accomplish? And just tell us. And I tried to give a brief overview. I know I didn't touch on everything, but what's going on with Mia's law? Are there petitions we can sign? And moderators, if you could look up the foundation, thank you for dropping the Instagram of the foundation. Put the foundation's website, please, in the chat as well. Thank you, Mr. Blue Water, and all my super stickers today. Thank you so much. But tell us more about Mia's law, please.
So Mia's law is a bill right now. It's currently in the bill phase. We
So it's
have
not a law technically. It's a
that's not a
proposed
law yet.
law called a
Not
bill.
yet.
Yes, yes.
We have and with the guidance of Marlon Hill is kind of the foundation's legal advisor. He was able to pull together a plethora of volunteers that helped us with reviewing the current law and seeing how we can change it. And so after several weeks of doing that, we had our bill language together. But Senator Stewart also had previously attempted to pass a bill very similar to this. So we met with her team and we compared the language, and it was very similar. It was like basically the same language. So because she had already had this information drafted, we inserted the things that she didn't have that we wanted to see happen. We were keen on the consequences, the punishment for not doing some of the things in there. So she and her team went out and talked with the apartment association and talked about how we can implement punishments, whether that's fines, imprisonment, losing of licenses to operate certain apartment complexes, and that was now implemented in the bill. So the apartment association, along with many other committees and the like, have now verbally agreed that this bill is a sure end. Like this bill it just got it right. So the press conference that we went to in Tallahassee this week, we went to just announce and show the bipartisan efforts that's being put in place. Both Democrat and Republicans in both the House and the Senate are invested in seeing that this bill is passed. So that's really, really good news. To be there, to meet everyone face to face. Representative Bartyman has been just absolutely amazing. She's with the House, a Democrat side with the House, but she's picked up to sponsor the bill on the House side, and she's already got Republicans, excited about the bill. So when we went there, we were able to do the press conference, which was great. I know that Marlon, if you know Marlon, he's not he's not a public speaker, but he pushed through that and was really able to communicate to the world how he feels about Mia's law and what he believes it will do to protect other young people and anyone.
Oh, you mean her father? I thought you meant Marlon Hill, the attorney. You were talking about Marlon, her father. My bad. I was like, yeah, I know Marlon. No, just kidding. You're saying her dad, who is not a public speaker, spoke on behalf of this bill in Tallahassee.
Yes, her dad and her mom. It's interesting because Ema is such a beautiful, very sweet personality, and she had to speak too. And I just told her when she was over, she's like, "How did I do?" And I'm like, "Girl, just flawless, absolutely beautiful. You spoke from your heart, and that's the most we can ask you to do." But the day was beautiful. We ended up leaving the press conference and going to meet with other legislators that will chair committees that will hear the bill. So our goal is to have someone physically present from the organization and the family at every committee meeting, so they see a representation of Miya, who she was, sitting there, and really just letting them know we're here. We're not going to let this go. We want to see this pass. And to be honest, having it passed here in the state of Florida is really just the first step. This is the bill. This is a law that's needed in all 51 states, So, we hope that this can be a catalyst to a national passing. We got a long way to go for that. But I mean, I just think this is happening in record-breaking time as far as
y'all putting in work. thanks to people like you on the team. I'm applauding you, Miss Jodi, because I'm like, they already got the law written up, and they already got this. They having foundation events, they having fundraisers. I'm like, you guys are moving smart and in a beautiful way. And I'm just grateful because, like, while the momentum is there, I've always been an advocate for whatever, you guys have needed, but it is just a beautiful thing to see that you guys have capitalized on that momentum and are still pushing and trying to have an impact for others, not to have to experience what unfortunately this family had to have gone through. So I want to just, they have a quick question. I have a question. My apartment is similar to Arden Villas. I don't know if I'm a lawyer, but I'm not answering legal questions today. This is for information. Hold on, let me put that up because y'all think this is a law show. But if you have a legal issue, you have to contact an attorney one-on-one. This is for informational purposes only, guys. So I just wanted to give a general update. This is not for any legal discussion, but you could contact me offline, sis. But I'll read the question nonetheless. And they come every 2 months for so-called inspections, and sometimes we're getting dressed. Whoa. Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm,
so
go
you
ahead.
have to so Renee, and it's so interesting how much I've had to learn about apartment complexes and the rules and the contract, the leasing agreement. I haven't lived in an apartment in so long,
Me
so
either.
this was just all like flooded. Like, wait, they're allowed to do what? Why are they do? It
Exactly.
is pretty crazy. But your first step is to pull your lease agreement and see what is in the agreement as far as your maintenance is, right? So that's one. Two, there are rules. I don't know where you're at, but there are rules and laws about about how maintenance people can enter your dwelling. So I know that in the state of Florida, there's currently a 12-hour notice they have to give. We are trying to increase that to 24 hours. Okay, so I don't know where you're at, but you want to know what the laws are in your state. Look up the renter laws in your state and hold them to that. So you can go to the head office and say, you guys are not giving 24-hour or 12-hour notice in writing, in a way that I can acknowledge that I've received it, whether they have an electronic portal, or apartment complexes have a lot of different ways of doing things, right? So you need to really go talk to your apartment complex with the law, because if they're
Yeah.
not following what the law says, then they are liable, and they have to. The beautiful thing about Mia's law, like I said, is the requirement of consequences. So now, unfortunately, when when an apartment does something wrong, it's like, who you gonna tell? Like, what are they gonna tell you? They're gonna say either accept it or get out type situation. But with Mia's law, now if we get it passed, there's gonna be consequences if they are not following the law. So if they are entering houses without proper notice, if they are not waiting the 24, what hopefully will be increased to 24 hours, if they are not doing proper background checks, and
Right.
and keeping proper records of who is entering apartments, what time and why, there's now going to be consequences for that. So once they get audited through the apartment association, and that association finds that apartment complex is not adhering to the Mia's law, there will
Right.
now be consequences.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
consequences right now, which is
They
the
don't. They
hardest
don't.
part.
No
you
teeth.
know
No teeth. Oh, you did it. What else? What happens? Oh, nothing. Yeah.
and they literally can fall back into the whole, well, move and we're not giving your deposit back. Like, so apartment renters are subject to that type of nonsense, where
Yeah.
something can literally happen. For example, where Miya was Arden Villas, there are young girls that are scared to live there, that reach out to us, or Attorney Washington mostly, all the time. They can't break their lease without losing the deposit and it
Yeah.
ruining their rental history. These are problems, and we need to address, that if you don't feel comfortable and safe in your environment, then there should be a way to get out.
Absolutely. So finally, what can we do? You guys are busy. We want to support Miya Marcano Foundation. We're obviously buy a butterfly. Thanks, moderators, for dropping the foundation link, please, in the chat. Support any way we can. Are there petitions that we can sign?
Right.
What
Yes.
can we do?
Okay, so please continue to buy those butterflies. We do have that gold. If you guys do, we have a petition. We're at about 35,000 for the I support Mia's Law campaign. So that if you go to our Instagram, it's in our bio. Just click the link, sign that petition. That we really really need that. We will be putting up some information of where people can email their state elected officials, the committee chairs and committee members. We're going to put all of them on our website. So with a template email, you could just cut and paste and send them the email. We want them to get as many emails that.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is for the bill that's now pending.
Yes.
We want to contact the lawmakers who sit on the committees, because bills must go through committee first before they go to the entire chamber to be voted on. So you're saying you're going to have a list of who's on these committees for the public to contact to express their support and ask them to, show support, the elected officials to show support for passage of the bill into the full chamber for a vote. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure people might be following and not knowing.
And then the final thing that I'm not the founder. There's so much people can do to support it, but one of the things I do want to say is we're about to launch a Friends of the Miya Marcano Foundation program, and that's going to be our volunteer program. And you'll be able to sign up with your level of expertise. We'll ask you some questions on how you want to get involved. We want to be able to have representatives in every state, every city, every county, just in case somebody goes missing. There's someone physically on the ground that can get to that family and help guide them through that process. So if you guys are interested in physically getting involved, give us a little bit more time. We're working on that now, but eventually you'll be able to go online, sign up to say, hey, I want to be, a friend of MMF, and I'm in, Pensacola, Florida, or I'm in Arlington, Texas, and I'm available if somebody goes missing here to help with providing those resources for families. I'm available to help with website. I'm available to help with I'm available to help with these whatever your specialty is. Feel free. I know a lot of people want to get involved, and a lot of people's like, what do you need us to do? I needed to take some time to really develop this thing so it's more streamlined, but once that's done, there's so many people that's needed to get involved. So there will be a portal that will house that need, and then when somebody goes missing, or the foundation needs something, we will reach out. We'll just put out a reach, say, hey, this person is missing in this area. Volunteers, is there anyone available to meet with the family? Is there anyone available to help search? Is there anyone available to help send these letters out to representatives and to the schools? And is there anyone, this family, they haven't eaten? Is there anyone that's available to help
whatever way?
Whatever way to help, and so we're building that portal as well as we speak. My guy O'Leary and Anguilla, how we are. I
was about to say, Miss Jodi, I don't know what you're doing, but baby, I'm just like taking notes. You are amazing. I've seen that several times. Jodi, that's huge. Jodi, you're amazing. Jodi. Listen, I don't know how you have the time, but you have definitely the vision for a lot of the most important parts.
I take that, and I'm learning to accept that. It is a lot. It is a lot, but it is a team effort. There are so many people behind the scenes that through community they know how I operate. They just know, and I'm like, hey, can you? Yes, Jodi, I got you. Or hey, you know what? We need this done. I'm on it. So it just. Community, man. And I would say that's another thing, like big up to the Caribbean community in general. Like everything happens, people are placed into your lives. You don't necessarily know the reason, right? And eventually it manifests why. And there's so many people that I have met through Uber Soca Cruise, through some of the other things that I've done in my career, that that now I can call on and say, hey, Gab. I'm talking to one of my favorite Gabby. I love you. She's always doing something for me, or Illyrian and Anguilla, or like it's just so many people that come to help.
Yo, people are just cheering you on. We are going to be here covering every step of the way. I'm just grateful, Jodi, for your time today. I know she's so busy. I was like, Jodi, please, Saturday. It was with so much gratitude that this came about. Like I said, this story has touched me, and there's a reason. As you said, there's a reason. I was like, Lord, why am I so? People were like, did you know me? I was like, no. They're
Yeah,
like, you
no,
all in it.
you know what makes this story so different and what I've
Mm,
seen? Um,
mm,
and we were on the Breakfast Club, and I said this there too. It's because this crosses all social, racial, gender. There's no barrier to entry. This can happen to anybody. Your any white family can send their child off to college, and this can happen to them. Any Hispanic, any African American, Afro Caribbean, Afro Latino, like it just can happen to anyone. And this is something that it wasn't like a reckless decision was made by Miya,
mm-hmm.
right? It wasn't like she just got into the car of
Nope.
someone she didn't know and just made a bad decision. She went home. We go home every day.
Just
You
living
know,
her
she
life.
just clocked off of work, and I'm getting goosebumps saying
I
this.
know. I
Like she
know.
clocked off of work and she went home. And that can happen to that is so scary to know that, my oldest daughter is 17. She graduates this year. She goes to college now. I'm so, this may sound selfish, but I'm so grateful that she's going to mortuary school, so she'll still be residing physically home
With
with
you.
and I'm just like, girl, yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
gonna keep my eyes on her. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, you
Yes.
can stay here as long as you want. But so many other parents, they just, we send our kids off to college, and we want them to live and grow and do what they need to do. And so that's why I think this story has resonated with somebody. This is not a situation, unfortunately, like Gabby, where she did a road trip with her abusive boyfriend. Like
Right. Mm-hmm.
Miya went home.
Yeah.
She just went home. She went home
Crazy.
to pack her clothes to go visit her family. Like, this is an everyday occurrence. And it doesn't matter, everyone, no matter what your color, no matter if you're a male, female, if you're young, old, black, white, zebra, striped, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. This is what we all do. And we all hope that when we go home, there's not a predator, a monster
Waiting
in
for
our
you.
homes waiting for, like, can you imagine? This is the things that we this is our biggest fear as parents, as people, as women, as single moms, this is the biggest fear we have. Since this case, I'm so much more vigilant. I'm so much more, even with my children who don't do much anyway, I'm always like, is your GPS locator, on your
On.
phone? Do you have life 360 cut on? Like, when I get
Yeah.
in my car, I'm always looking in the back to make sure
Yeah.
no one's in
Listen.
there. Like, it is just so
It
scary.
makes us
So
like have to live this hyper vigilant life, which is not really fair because
it's
there's so
not
many good
fair.
people in the world, but there are so many also. It's like a competition between good and evil all the while. So
And
while
I
there
will
are
say
so
this.
many,
I will say
mhm,
this, and I just
mhm,
have to say this. I think there's a bigger
mhm,
conversation. I have to fit in somewhere. There's a bigger conversation around um, male aggression towards women. At this point in
mm,
time, I feel like
mhm,
it is a pandemic. I feel
mhm.
like it is such a problem, evidenced by the numbers of cases worldwide of women that go missing at the hands of men. And I
Of
think
their
there
intimate partner.
intimate partners. And there needs to be a bigger conversation around what nationally we are doing to curb this. If there is a virus, is a big pandemic because it's
Mhm.
killing a lot of people, there was a national come together
Response.
moment,
Yeah.
a response. And I think that this warrants a national response. And it's not
Mm.
just not just in America, globally. The amount of women that are being beaten, killed, going missing, sex trafficked, like, it needs a global or national, international solution. And I
Mhm.
think it starts with our young men.
Mhm.
Why are they unable to accept certain levels of rejection? Why do they view women in a way that they still own, women, and the whole 9 yards? I think that there needs to be something done at elementary school level, because I worked in mental health for about 8 years, and we used to always say that a mentally unhealthy child will become a mentally unhealthy adult if he doesn't get the help that he needs. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing. If there's a trauma-filled young man, he will be a trauma-filled man in a world. So there needs to be a bigger conversation. And I know that I've talked to Ima, I've talked to Marlon, her mom and dad about this and how we can even speak out about our experiences and what we can do to change this. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
37
I
years old,
would
and
totally
I
agree. I think there's so many men doing it right, but for the men, and again, I don't want to paint everybody with a terrible broad
right,
brush, but for those who are not taught healthy habits, healthy ways of thinking, having been exposed to, broken homes and all kinds of stuff, there are so many things that build a broken person, man or woman. So
yes.
we have to have, that's a whole nother conversation, my darling, because
A
there are
whole
so many
nother
layers to it.
conversation. It
When it,
is.
because
It
like
is.
no, a broken person doesn't just wake up one day broken. There's all these things that happen, and we're not going to say every. I hear you, Charles. I'm not. I don't think our intent is to say all men. No, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
But
And then
when we were talking
no,
about,
that's not
there
the argument
are
we're saying.
unhealthy patterns
Yes.
that we've seen across the world. And we're definitely not saying all. So we want to do acknowledge though that there has been an upward trend where
It is.
again in intimate relationships there has been a lot more violence, etc., that unfortunately has led to things like
Well, the
this.
stats don't lie, right? Like the stats
So yeah,
are
I
now
hear you,
at
Charles.
one in three women will experience or have experienced physical abuse. 1 in 3, not 1 in 10, not one in
Mm,
100 or 1 in 1,000. 1 in 3. So the stats don't lie, and
mhm,
it is a discussion that we need to have. I actually think it's a discussion that needs to be led by men, frankly.
mhm.
So those good
Yeah,
men.
I was gonna say I don't even believe in preaching to men. I believe men should preach to men. I
Right.
really
So
do
those
believe
good
that
men that are saying
because
it's not me. You're the
yeah.
ones that we need you, Charles, to
No,
lead
you
this.
hold each other accountable. That's how it used to be, right?
Right.
The man
Yes.
said to another man, "You're not making the standard. You got to do better." That's why
You
I
gotta
believe
do
the
better. Let
change
me
has to
pull you
happen
up. Yes.
among men too, and with other men. I believe. So that, but
Absolutely.
that's a whole nother can of worms, my
It is.
darling. I know
It
you
is.
have
It
to
is. It is.
go,
It is.
but I have enjoyed this. Thank you so much to all of you who have participated. Go ahead and hit the like button, you guys. Please, thank you, moderators. I see Kayla. Kayla is so informed. Kayla has all the stats
Oh,
too.
don't
Which
look.
House bill,
Don't
which Senate bill. She said Mia's law will
listen.
protect over 2.8 million Florida residents. It's an
Kayla,
equal.
let me give her flowers. Kayla is absolutely phenomenal. She has been, she just kind of, we don't know where Kayla came from, but she just got involved and she has been helping me in the background. She is a phenomenal writer. She's been assisting with drafting some letters for state representatives, some of the content for the website. So, Kayla, I mean,
Shout out to Kayla.
much love and appreciation to you. You're absolutely
This is
phenomenal.
community.
Yes,
Yes, thank you. Everybody's saying human trafficking, yes, is a huge part because we have even discussed within this case what role that might have played. Not saying that there's, again, factual information. I know police are doing the research and still kind of they're open cases, so we're not going to speculate. But yes, there are trends in this society that we must address, particularly when it comes to violence against women. That's real. That's
yeah.
100% real. And we got to make sure we're doing what we can through law, through the work of the foundation. Thank you for what you're doing, Jodi. And shout out to Miss Ema, Mr. Marlon, Miss Giselle, the entire family, grandmas, all the extended family that she has. We think about you all. We pray for you all. We know it can't be an easy journey even now,
It's not.
to
It's
still
not.
be
It's not.
living the nightmare. So we
Yeah,
we
it's
we
not
want
an
to
easy
keep.
journey, and I'm glad you said that. It's not an easy journey for this family right now. This family is still complete shock and mourning. Every day is difficult. So to get them to even get up and 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 support others is just a testament to the fact that they don't want this to happen to anyone. But I will say that this was a loss for this family, for this community, like I've never seen. It is, but I mean, and then again, also shout outs to Attorney Washington. He has been there and he is supporting this family from the legal aspect, and
Yes.
and we hope that on that side things go the way they need to go, and that apartment complex is held liable and accountable, responsible for their part that they played. And Attorney Washington has said from the beginning that everybody that had a hand in the death of Miya will be held responsible. So there's just so many thank yous to go around to you. Thank you so much for your support and continuous coverage to other media out there. I mean, they've been so loving, so supportive. They have made sure that they have run every story, everything that we've asked them to run, they've run. So, just thank you guys so much. This we need we need more of this, but we are off to a great start. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jodi. I know I promise to get you out here by a certain time and we going over, but I appreciate it. The people are still commenting. They're loving the information. For those who have heard about the case just now, welcome to this Miya Marcano community, right? We're going to be back hopefully before your big event in April or in spring.
Yes.
Welcome back anytime to talk about her legacy. There's a reason. She is not passed in vain. We're going to make sure that other people are not going to suffer the same outcomes where things can be prevented through law and other mechanisms. Thank you to this woman. Fantastic. Crisis. Girl, if I'm in a crisis, I'm calling you. Crisis.
I got you.
Manager extraordinaire, public relations extraordinaire, has stepped forward and helped this family in some extraordinary ways. Jodi Lewis, we salute you. Thank you for coming on, sis. Everybody, please go check out the Miya Marcano Foundation website. Buy a butterfly. Support it any way you can. Volunteer any way you can. Thank you for updating us today, my darling. And I hope to see you back. Okay. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for showing love. Love or no. Take care. All right, Miss Jodi. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.